Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here, bringing you the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. Shooter, the summer is well underway. I just finished up the Tournament of Stars, going right into the 18U national team. You're running around the country as well. It's the summer season, man.
You know what? I was following you and Dunk down at TOS all week. I hope I didn't bug you too much asking for information after every pitch while tracking the games, but it was awesome to see the stuff you guys had coming out.
Yeah, it's one of the funny things about events. We're watching players and, we've got all this stuff coming in for, some guys are new to me or I'm just getting a look even though I've heard about them or whatever. It's the end of the day. It's 100 degrees. We're trying to go get food, and I'm getting text messages from you, from coaches, from scouts, like, hey, what do you got on this guy? What do you got on this guy? And I'm like, can I please just, process this for a few days
You can't.
Before I go and make snap judgments? But nonetheless, it was a good week in Cary. Got to see lots of top prospects for the 2019 and 2020 class. Tournament Stars, there's always some underclassmen, but this year the underclassmen, it was a really strong group and in a lot of ways outshined the 2019s. So it'll be fun to continue to watch those guys. A bunch of them moved on to the trials roster, so we'll get an extended look at them. So plenty of information on prepbaseballreport.com. We've got notebooks from each day, so be sure to check them out. I'm rolling straight into trials, so I'll have information from that. And, as always, we deliver with the information. But let's talk about some standouts from the Tournament of Stars. We'll go in, like we always say, we'll go into more depth on a podcast because we got a little bit more time, obviously, to play with there. But let's talk about a few guys that were there. And, we can't start with anyone other than the man known as Junior. Bobby Witt Jr. out of Texas, Colleyville Heritage High School, the son of Bobby Witt, former big leaguer, now agent. We've got a long history with Bobby Jr. now. He was at TOS last year, could have made the team, but ended up getting injured. He's back this year. He didn't have a loud week. Nobody really did. But he showed his tools, and he showed not just the tools, but the aptitude for the game.
Okay.
It was one of the most professional BPs you'll see, just working left field, center field, right field, just working the gaps, the whole field, and nothing weak either, just lasers all over the field. Wasn't real loud, like I said, in games. The first day he did square up 94 away. I heard the exit velo on that was 105. So it's not like he's just a Deadpool hitter. He can go to all fields. And then shortstop, just an elite defender there. Really good actions, athletic guy. On Saturday, his team was playing in the bronze medal game. There was a runner on second base. I think there was 2 outs. Base hit through the left side. This ball is destined for left field. The guy's going to round third, come home, bottom of the ninth, walk-off win. And Junior dives to his right, snares the ball, gets to his feet, and gets a throw off. He didn't get the out, but the runner at third had to hold up because the ball did not continue to the outfield. So just a tremendously athletic play for him. So the tools showed up even if the results weren't there.
And you know what? The law of averages, it sounds like Bobby Witt Jr. will have a pretty big week this week coming up. So make sure you're locked in to see what he does.
No doubt. I certainly will. But I mentioned the 2020s really shining. And for me, Pete Crow Armstrong might end up being the starting center fielder, hands
PCA.
down. Yeah, PCA from SoCal, Harvard Westlake High School. The dude showed out all week. He can run. He's got a supernatural left-handed, smooth, easy swing. He can really throw, especially for an underclassman. He had one of the better arms from the outfield at the event. But just a natural hitter at the plate. Everything's loose and easy. He dropped down a bunt, gets down the line in about 4-0 to 4-1 from the left side. He can turn on a pitch, pulls it to the right side, for a hard single later in the tournament. Just an all-around tools guy, and he's a 2020. Get to watch him for another.
He's not scared. He's definitely not scared.
No, and why would you be playing in the Mission League in Southern California for Harvard Westlake? This guy is what we expect out of top prospects out of California.
Yep.
So looking forward to seeing more of him. But Corbin Carroll, is my guy. I mean, I saw this guy at Area Codes last year as an underclassman, and I was like,
Okay.
this guy can play. He's smaller frame, so he's not going to walk on the field and really catch your eye, but he can absolutely fly. Gets down the line at about 4.0 to 4.1. I think he was going on the pitch, but he was on first base. Anthony Volpe, the infielder from North Jersey, kind of flares one into right center field in no man's land. But so it's not in the gap behind outfielders. It's in that Bermuda Triangle area. And Corbin Carroll doesn't break stride, scores from first, essentially on a flare single/double. I think Volpe ended up getting to second base. But I mean, to have that kind of speed, he covers ground in center field, and he can really hit. It's all fields. Looseness, short swing at the plate. Just a fun guy to watch. He's committed to UCLA. I was talking to John Savage about him. I was like, Coach, I really like this guy. This is a heck of a recruit for you. And he's like, I hope he gets to campus. And I was like, well, the size thing, some scouts might have some reservations about that. And he says, I'm already hearing things like Jacoby's Ellsbury, so we'll see how that goes. So obviously for Coach Savage's sake, be a heck of a player if he got to campus, but just dynamic tools across the board for Corbin Carroll. So you'll see him, I'm sure, at Area Codes, and you're going to love him.
I'm pumped because he was one guy where immediately I could tell Rhodey really likes this guy because there's some tweets out there. Each day when I talk to you, this Corbin Carroll kid can really fly. He's got a good bat.
Yeah.
So looking forward to seeing him in SoCal at the Area Codes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really had to do something this week for me to pull out the phone and tweet because it was about 95 to 100 degrees every day in the straight sun. And it wasn't, it wasn't because I was hot and, really miserable. It was because I didn't want my phone to get absolutely fried by the sun. So you really had to step up and do something big for me to pull the phone out during a game and tweet.
That's fair.
But a guy that definitely deserved in-game tweets was left-hander Avery Short out of Indiana. Shooter, you just saw him, the week before Tournament of Stars, and it showed up again at TOS. I mean, we had the last game on Tuesday, both teams combined for 20 walks. It was miserable. It was just kind of like, can we get some strikes, please? Avery Short comes in on Wednesday and cruised through 5 innings. 3-4 pitch mix, throwing strikes, moving in and out, breaking balls, changeup. I mean, he had everything going for him. Super easy delivery. It's not big, sexy stuff. He's not going to blow you away with 95, but he can spot up the fastball. Super easy delivery. Throws the secondary stuff for strikes. I mean, he was a breath of fresh air, when we weren't getting a lot of strikes. But on top of that, I mean, this guy, he knows how to pitch.
Yeah, he's got that chip on his shoulder each time he goes out there, and he just really can set up hitters. He has feel for how to pitch, and not up to 95 yet, but with the jumps he's made over the last 12 months, you could easily see some 5 balls come in May, June, right before the draft, and all of a sudden you're looking at a frontline type guy in the draft where this is the left-hander that some team's going to want to take. I think I told you he kind of has the same body type as Ryan Rollison, who was at Ole Miss this year, similar durable frame, but really goes in and out. I'm sure he did that for you, and especially coming off the big walks of Tuesday, to have a guy like Avery Short go out there and pound the zone was much appreciated.
It certainly was. We all were big fans of it. But another guy from the Midwest that stood out was Cale Davis. I was talking to Matt Blood, the 18U director, before the event. He said that Cale Davis was coming. He's like, man, I think this guy has a chance to really blow up at TOS and become a dude. And I was like, sorry, buddy, it's a little late, because he blew up at the Future Games and was one of the top guys there. So we knew him well, and he certainly he didn't disappoint. Obviously, a great outing from him. The fastball in the low 90s. It showed more of a slider this time instead of kind of the hammer that we saw at Future Games, but I think that's still in there. But a tremendous outing from him. I mean, he was a slam dunk guy to move on to the trials roster. He's got that strong frame. You just talked about with Avery Short, that durable frame. I mean, Cale Davis is a guy that you feel like you're going to throw him out there on the mound, and he's going to give you innings as a starter no matter what.
Yeah, he is a guy that throughout the spring, Andy Urban, our director in Oklahoma, would constantly be sending me updates. I'd say, "How's my boy Cale Davis doing? Send me a video. Send me a video." So
Mm-hmm.
we've been monitoring that throughout the spring. It's good to hear he had a good showing at TOS, and will be right back out there this week.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So let's look at some standouts from TOS. Tune into the podcast later this week. Shooter, you've got some travel coming up, so it'll be a day or two delayed on the podcast. But we'll definitely go into more depth about a lot of those guys, plus other players as well from TOS. And I'll continue with the coverage with the trials. But moving on, Shooter, why don't you fill us in on a couple of underclassmen that you've recently gotten some intel on?
Yeah, we've had a lot of events popping up in all our coverage area, and each of the state directors have been sending stuff through. But there's a couple guys I want to touch on real quick. There's a 2021 Kansas uncommitted Kendall Diggs. I'd written about him in On the Hunt earlier in the year. Really like the way the swing plays from the left side. He's strong, but came out. He's a 6'7", 8 runner. Is going to be an athletic infielder moving forward. 91 mile per hour exit velocity at the plate from the left-hand side, so there might be some more power in there, plus that speed with the ability to play the infield with a strong arm. He's a guy moving forward that a lot of schools are going to be wanting to follow. And then out of Arizona, he really shined at the Arizona class of 2020 games. Kid by the name of Trevor Long, and legit two-way prospect. He was up to 88 on the bump with the fastball at the event, and I think he may be even better with the bat. Right-handed hitter, uses that big, strong arm at third base, could even be a corner outfielder in the future, but can really swing it. It's quick hands, strong wrist, just drives the ball from gap to gap. He's one that I'm going to be following moving forward. So those are two underclassmen that I'm really excited to see going forward. We're going to have a lot more coming with all the events we've had.
Excellent. Well, what do you got next on the schedule?
Oh, New York State games. Over 300 of the top kids in the Empire State. I'll be heading up there for a couple days, but then next weekend, my big return to Houston. I've been waiting all spring to get back, so now we're in the summer. The Heat, University of Houston, going to be a great time with some of the top travel programs in the Houston area and in all of Texas, actually. What about you?
Excellent. Well, I'm sticking with the Team USA coverage. As I said, we are rolling straight into trials are taking place here in Cary as opposed to there being a break. So I'm looking forward to that because it's an extended look. You know, we saw 80 players last week. 43 of them stick around, get another look at them. But also, we'll see the college national team for Team USA coming in. David Seifert, our college scouting director, who really heads up our partnership with D1 Baseball, is joining me. So we'll get a good in-depth look at a lot of guys this week. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about from them.
Oh, yeah, you're going to be seeing basically between the college and the USA high school guys, hey, good look at who could be the first-round picks of next year and the high draft picks in general.
Absolutely, and I'm sure some will show out, and we'll definitely watch their progress as we continue over the next 12 months. But
nice.
Shooter, thanks for the updates today on those underclassmen. Make sure you subscribe to watch Coffee and Curveballs, weekly episodes about the top prospects in amateur baseball. For Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Rohde. This is Coffee and Curveballs, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.